Welcome to
No fucking filter.
It'll be fun.
Hi.
Hi.
We have a special guest here today.
Yes, we do.
Bow, 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 bow.
Who is it? Who is it?
He is a dad.
Yes.
He dabbles in photography. Former dabbler, maybe?
Yes.
He
former full.
is an officiant. He is a giant.
He's very tall. How tall are you?
6'6".
Okay.
Well, we have to
he's a
say
gi-
who it is.
Yes, we would like to introduce.
Cole Hofstra.
Woo!
Woo! Oh,
Hello.
let's do a little cheers, you guys.
clinky,
Cheers.
clinky.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you being here. We know you probably have a lot to talk about after being a photographer
Yeah.
and now an officiant.
Yeah.
So many things. A total of 15 years in the Calgary industry alone.
Wow.
You're an OG.
I am
Yeah.
an OG.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, that sounds so
amazing.
weird.
Do you feel like it's changed a lot?
So much.
Yeah.
So
You've
much has
seen-
changed. It's crazy. I think my first ever wedding was 2007, 2006.
Oh,
What was
wow.
the trend, like
Yeah.
the photography trend when you started?
Angles,
Oh, yeah.
really high contrast, black and white,
Yeah.
and selective color.
Oh, the selective
Oh.
color is so.
I kind of miss it. Should we bring it back?
Stop.
It still
No.
pops. It still pops up when I look in my Lightroom, like when it takes you to the very front of your catalog. A selective color, like red shoe shot.
Oh, a
my
red
gosh.
shoe. How
Yeah.
provocative.
It's always the red, right?
It breaks my
The-
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My sister has one hanging on her wall from her wedding where just her eyes are in color, but they're like very saturated.
Blue eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
That's intense.
Yeah. Are you still doing photography or are you solely officiating?
Solely officiating as a profession, and creating more art now. So much more landscape photography because
Amazing.
officiating takes me all over the province. So I always have a camera with me now.
Well, and you've like really ramped up. Like you just started hiking as like a hobby, or just like the weddings were bringing you hiking because you went right into.
I always liked hiking, and then all of a sudden I had the time to do it more, and then I got asked to do one hiking wedding, and then it became addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first one went really, really bad. I can tell that story.
Yeah, please do.
The first hiking elopement that I ever did was on, oh my gosh, the big mountain next to Lake Louise, Fairview.
Okay.
And the couple were trail runners, and they were very fit. And they gave us an extra hour and a half to that what they thought the time would be to get up. And I almost missed their ceremony. They started doing their photos and they were into everything. And I almost missed the beautiful alpenglow like happening at the top because I was so out of shape and just and it broke my heart. Yeah. It took something like 4 hours to get up that mountain.
Oh my gosh.
And now I do it in an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like huge change. I do it once a year now just to be like, screw you, old Cole.
Yeah. Just to train
Yeah.
for those weddings.
Yeah. So once I started doing it, and then I was one of few officiants that really enjoys that kind of commitment and adventure to it. Mm-hmm. So it just keeps growing and exploding, especially because weddings have changed so much in the last few years.
Right. And they're more going towards the hiking and elopements and everything like that, right?
Yeah, and we've become a destination wedding location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
So.
That's so true.
Yeah, you get couples from all over. What's like a crazy place that a couple has come from?
A huge part of my client base is Florida, Texas, UK, Australia,
Wow.
and Ontario.
There's a lot of
Ontario.
Ontario weddings, actually. Even for me, like not as a destination, like a lot of Ontario people have settled here, I think, too. And families will come all the way from Ontario.
Yeah, people really like the incredible flip-flop of their own location, of their own landscape. So that's why it's like destination, especially when you live in Florida and a lot of your life is beaches and hot weather, or Texas is a lot of hot weather. Come to the cool, come to the Grand Mountains.
Come to the kind Canadians.
Yeah, and the American dollar. The American dollar goes a long way when you're paying us.
Yeah, might as well go have like an extravagant, like you could.
Yeah, you could
Your
go all
money
out.
goes so far, and yeah.
Lots of the couples are here for a month, and they get married in the first week, and then do 3 weeks of honeymoon after.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, I like that. It's like so much more of a chill vibe than a normal wedding day. For you too, probably, not having like 100 people looking at you.
The size of the crowd doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I actually find, so I have a lot of different core scripts that I use, and kind of as my starting point based on the type of wedding that you're having. And I find with a crowd to play off of, it actually makes the wedding more impulsive, and there's more ebbs and flows, and there's things to react to, and there's things to, based on my theater background. I have a degree in musical theater performance.
It all makes sense.
all coming together.
The improv with having a large crowd, I would say my favorite is like 75 to 150 is like a really like cool crowd to play with. But the intimate weddings are just totally different and very fun.
Yeah.
But usually my tone is somebody who has a large personality. It usually, because you're only talking to two people, so you can't be like,
Thanks for everyone coming out here today.
If you tell a joke and it doesn't land with two people,
It hurts.
it's an awkward pause.
Yeah. Thanks for being here today. As you know from us being the only ones here, my name is Cole.
Oh, that's good.
What inspired you to make the change?
There's three big things. Family,
Yes.
starting my own and getting married myself. The way photography has changed so much in the last couple of years. Clients are getting more demanding.
They are?
Because with photography, it's such an accessible thing. Everybody has an SLR camera of some sort, of some varying degree. So everyone thinks that they can do it to some varying degree.
Yeah.
So it makes them, not everyone, but it makes a lot of people not have as much respect for the creatives because they can dabble in it. When you're an officiant, I'm performing a legal service. I'm appointed by the government. It's not just something that everyone and anyone can do. We can get to the day of officiant thing later.
Oh, yeah.
But
We want to know about that.
it's, and AI has adapted so much, and there's people's expectations and the way that I lost my heart in photography for a while because I wasn't creating for me anymore and like my vision of photography.
Yeah.
I was way too influenced by what couples wanted, like a huge list of pre-requests, like shot list and all these different things. And it just wasn't exciting anymore. And it was just, I'm going to put you in that same mountain spot that I've been 50 times. I'm going to go do this here. Just let me get
Yeah.
And it just kind of, and the third thing is that I think officiating needed it a little bit.
They needed you, Cole.
Yeah, they did.
There's so many wonderful officiants out there, but a lot of them don't want to hike. They don't want to get up at 4 a.m. and go stand in the cold at sunrise. It just gives people a whole different avenue of officiant that they may not have had before.
You are a rare breed, that's for
You
sure.
found your niche.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
And so between all of that things and just, I'm home for dinner so much more often now. I get to do all these things. Like the client management is huge because you're working with so many more couples, but the amount of hours that I have to physically be somewhere, I don't have to be there till midnight. I'm not sitting at my computer editing.
Yeah, and it's like probably way better on your body, I guess, as well.
So much better.
It's probably really nice to be done the ceremony and then just
And then
be
just
like, bye, and then
see
literally
ya.
never see them again.
I always say, bye photographers, I'm going to go do my post work, which is actually going to the post office.
Yeah.
And then
so
I'm
good.
done for the day. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we want to know if you have any juicy stories from your wedding photographer days.
Oh my goodness. I had so many in my brain. There's so many things that I photographed almost 800 weddings
Wow. That's crazy.
in like 12 years.
Wow.
And so much stuff happened. I fell in a pool in Mexico once.
Okay, you always see these like TikToks or like viral videos of that happening, but like I've never.
Yeah, it's not even. Like,
Did you ruin your gear? Like I have so
the
many
bag
questions.
of rice does not work when there's when there's chlorine or salt involved.
And there was probably both.
Yeah. So it was the day before the wedding. I took
The day before the wedding.
I took I took all of their detail stuff. I always travel with 2 bodies and 4 lenses. I took all of their detail stuff the day before. I wanted to get it done because the timeline felt tight the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like, this, and it wasn't even a deep pool. It was one of those little side pools like in the buildings.
That's almost more awkward because you fall in, but you're still struggling to get
You
out.
literally fell in a fountain.
It was more. I say
A pool sounds better, though.
Pool does sound better. And so I also, like, thankfully, I only had 1 body, but I had my macro lens and my super wide, and it was in my satchel that I was like all my side stuff. So I like trying to do all these rings things, and I literally slipped out on water, and the whole satchel just like dunked into the pool, and like totally I couldn't get out, but I was like this, camera out of the water, trying not to lose their rings.
Oh my gosh.
And
Did anyone see you?
Like
No.
It's honestly too bad no one got that on film. Like that's.
So I got a big bag of rice, put my wide in the bag, and the lens, like the film on the lens, totally corroded from the chlorine and all that kind of stuff that was in the pool, and I had to shoot the rest of the week and the whole wedding day with, I think I had a 50, and so that's as wide as I could go with everything. So I was constantly backing up, and just so disheartened that, and I was still at the time where a lot of us were trading. Oh, totally, I'll take just this little bit of money and trade you for a week, and so I just ruined a $2,500 lens for a free vacation.
And your vacation, because you were stressed
Yeah,
AF the rest of the time.
100%.
No.
Well, we want to know more about, you did so many destination weddings, I feel like. Tell us more about what that was like for you.
They're terrible.
Just straight up.
So everybody,
don't do it.
I see it all the time. I run a couple of Facebook groups that are wedding Facebook groups, and people wanting to come in and do like, oh, pay for my travel and I'll come photograph in the mountains, pay for me to go to Mexico and I'll do this. But what you don't realize is customs. You're with a bunch of strangers for an entire week. You're away from your friends and family.
Like it's a like vacation means different things to different people.
The amount of times that I was one time walking into an airport and I was with the videographer and we were walking together, and customs came up to him with his rolly case and his couple of light stands and was like very aggressively like you, and like starting to pull him up, and I just walked away from him. I was like, we can't both not get into the
one
country.
One of you has to get there. Was that in Mexico?
Yeah. So I just beelined away from him, and he had to give them money to be able, because he had too many camera bodies for his thing. And so it's a real thing that you cannot get let in. The couple can be caught. A lot of resorts charge now to have you just be there. They
can even take your stuff, right?
Yeah, they can take away your cameras. They can turn you right around. You can fall into a pool and the lens. Pool. There's so many extra level stresses that it's a really cool experience. It's really fun, and some of the bonding you do with that group of people over the week will always lead you to more work back home. And that was one of the really good things that kept me going. I worked with the same group of people 4 years in a row at 4 different destinations.
Wow.
So you were their buddy.
I was their buddy. So that didn't feel uncomfortable. That felt like I was going to an event. But there's other times that they might not be your type of people. You might be a parent of 2 and you're like, oh, I get to sit on the beach and do a thing. And all of a sudden we need you to be at this pool party. They're going till 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's just party. They're on their vacation and you're just on a break of life and trying to work
as well. And I think like the time you're away too, like sets you back. Like you could be
100%.
paying clients within those couple days. And
how many times have you ever booked a destination wedding and then you get an inquiry at home that would have paid you more money?
And you could have paid for your own vacation,
or like 2 or 3 back to back that you could have taken in like your
The
town.
very first one I ever did, I agreed to have a roommate. Never again.
No.
Never again.
That sounds
You're like,
terrible.
I will do anything and everything for you.
Solo.
Just take me there,
And
and then
everybody
you realize,
all the time. Oh, we just have this one friend who's a solo traveler. Will you please just share with them? No, 100%.
Oh my gosh.
I need
Private
space.
room.
I have all this
Yeah.
gear. There's a way that I go about doing things, and just
What an odd request
Yeah.
by a couple.
all the time, though.
Can you share with our buddy that you met? What?
All the time.
oh man,
Yeah, I feel like just even the flight time to parts of Mexico is like the length of
That-
you'd work for a wedding here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
True.
And you're shooting way more, like the amount of images you have to go through.
100%. Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing a sunset session this day. and
Yeah.
It's my only advice to very strictly set your boundaries before you do it. Because
Yeah.
then that will set up the expectation of like, are you doing pool sessions? Are you doing a sunset session? Are you doing a day after adventure session? Don't let them come to you and request when you're half into like your fifth Sunday on the beach that day kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah, because it's awkward to have to say no right then and there, or like some people don't know
Some
how to
couples
say,
feel
right, and
that
it's
they've justly paid for your vacation, so you're almost at their beck and call.
yeah.
for
I
the
don't think
adventure.
people understand like why we charge what we charge, and then like looking at, you could go to Mexico for like half of what it costs to actually hire us, right? So yeah, craziness.
And it's not like you can relax at the pool and be like suntanning with a margarita while your couple's like beside you.
I think it was Cuba or something. This was early in my career too. It's for a friend. It was right when I was starting out. It was for the portfolio.
I love that you're such a world traveler. You don't even remember. Like, oh, maybe Cuba. I don't know.
But I definitely, because they were friends, like I was in the pool 2 days before and I got hammered. I was like, I showed some colors that like, and see, this is just all in the learning process of being an early photographer. They were friends, right? So they were like, like, it's funny. And they knew me, but like, yeah, like the parents didn't know me before that day, and like, yeah, some true colors kind of came out, and you have to kind of be like on all the time
Yeah.
when you're out in front of
On
them.
all the time.
Yeah,
And it's
exhausting.
And don't burn the top of your feet and then having to wear wedding shoes the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, so many things. Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
things that you just don't think of. You're gonna hold it. What if you get the bum tum and
Oh,
all of
yeah.
a sudden you're
That probably happens so
So
much.
much.
Yeah. I never thought about that. I don't-
Wedding on
I don't
day
wanna
2?
think about that. actually.
wedding on day 2 of 7? Ugh.
Fish tacos the night before. Well, now we want to know how you became an officiant.
I'm appointed by the province.
So did you apply? Did the province like recruit you?
No.
They're like, you would make a really good officiant.
There's a process, and it's the same process for everyone going through the Alberta government. There's an online list of places that are accepting applications, and you have to get appointed by the location that you live. So I'm appointed to Calgary to serve the community. Obviously, I'm legally allowed to do ceremonies anywhere throughout the entire province if it's requested. But I have to service my community. So you apply within the community that you live, and then there's an application process of getting recommendation letters and online application and a cover letter. And once that all gets approved, then there was a 3-hour in-person interview that I had to go to
No.
Edmonton for.
You're joking.
3 hours.
I had to read a 20-minute ceremony in front of 3 people sitting there with notepads and pens.
Okay, I am shocked by this because there are a lot of officiants, in my opinion, that, like, I don't know, as like a videographer and catching audio and all those aspects, it's like,
Yeah, they
it's
slipped
maybe
through
not-
the. Maybe this was before the
they
three.
slipped through the cracks. Like, I'm like, I don't know how you're reading this right now.
I
Like,
had one that called the bride the wrong name throughout the entire ceremony, and the bride kept being like, I think she was calling her Molly. Her name was Maggie. She kept being like,
Oh my gosh.
no, it's Maggie.
Well, is that so? I'm curious.
It's
If
my
she
nightmare.
says the wrong name, then is it like legally void?
No, because of the repeat after me portions
Okay,
and
it has
stating their
to-
full legal name.
Okay, so that's the only.
Yeah, so if you say the wrong, so a lot of the stuff in the ceremony is all fluff, except
Okay.
for the repeat after me portions.
Okay.
So if she states her fully legal name and everything, then it would
Oh
be.
my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So
Yeah.
like,
It was
3
it was a crazy
hours?
interview. I've never been if you have people who are actively listening to you and you're talking to them, but people looking at you taking notes as you're sitting
my
there trying
gosh.
to perform something that's
Yeah,
energetic,
yeah.
and there's no bounce back. There's no reactionary.
Just-
It's like
Yeah.
acting. Like that's where all
100%.
of the past
Dark. I had to
comes
just
in
completely
helpful.
block them out, and yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I wonder why. Like, what are they worried about?
I
You're just
think-
gonna go rogue and just marry everyone? Like, what?
I think they're just trying to make sure that you're well spoken, you're collected,
Yeah.
that you can actually put through. Because they did send new parameters and things that I had to create a ceremony for. They gave me the couple's name and some of the things that they like, and I took some of that and made it into a ceremony.
Well, this is helpful for clients, and like obviously it weeds out the fact that anyone and everyone can do it.
I mean, again, I'm gonna object because I've seen some people that
yeah.
I think they failed the interview.
I think
don't know.
personality comes into the second play of it. Like
Yeah,
some
that's
people
true.
just don't get like they give their own type of spice into it, but it's like maybe not everyone jives with it maybe, or I don't know.
You should always
Yeah.
search for an officiant who you do jive with and
Yeah.
spice with, because there's so many different personalities and so many different types, and depending on what you're looking for, it's like all of these people were appointed for a reason at some point in time, and they continue to.
At some point.
They're all wonderful.
Yeah.
We love them.
We love them.
And like there is like a distinguished thing about what we do and being an officiant and having this legal right to perform
Yeah.
it
ceremonies.
is.
So when you just pick anyone, because if you just pick anyone for any reason or just whoever's available, you're almost devaluing your own ceremony
Fully.
rather than putting in. You're going to get as much out of it as you put into it.
Right.
So if you just choose such and such, okay, let's go. That means you don't value your ceremony. You just want to get it legal and then move on to your party, or maybe your photos are the things that you value most. And that's totally your prerogative as a couple. I'm not here to tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
I have some couples that try to hire me and they're like, no, we just want the down and dirty, super legal. It's like, you're looking at the wrong person.
Don't talk.
Yeah.
Stick to the script.
There's so many people that would do this for you so much simpler
Yeah.
when I have a huge process of a
Yeah.
questionnaire and all these different things.
Yeah,
So-
That kind of answered a question for me already. But I think we should like also ask couples like how many people have they interviewed until they found the right officiant? Because I'm curious. Like, did they meet a couple? It's like almost like finding a therapist. Like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not a good fit. We're not, you
Yeah.
know, and like, yeah. Interesting. And how much hours do you put into meeting and like more meetings
It
with
really
couples?
depends on the couple.
Right.
So some couples, they went to 8 weddings last year and all their friends got married. Some couples, they have been to 1 wedding and they were a flower girl when they were 6.
Right.
So
It's one or the other.
people need different levels of guidance and hand-holding. So there's some couples that come to me and just have zero idea. So we always do meet and greet and interview. We go through everything. I send them a huge like 40, 50 question questionnaire.
Wow.
And they send it back to me and they ask me questions along the way. What do you think about this based on my photography knowledge and my officiant knowledge? Like, what do you think about this for timing? Do you think this would work in a ceremony? Do you think this? And we communicate back and forth, and then we video call kind of as a virtual rehearsal, and then we video call again kind of as a final, let's check in, make sure everything's good. But yeah, I would say between meetings and script writing and questionnaire, like it can be, each couple can have like 10 hours of
Wow.
build up
Yeah.
towards their day. And some couples are we filled out the questionnaire, it's just us, we don't need a virtual rehearsal,
Yeah.
we're good, we totally trust you. And those kind of people take 3 hours,
Yeah.
you know, of just the script writing and
Right.
the creativity. So it's such a dynamic range. I think one of my hidden talents is reading people and getting a sense of what do you need? What do you want from me? How can I help you? How can I guide you? Do you not need this help? Because you seem very confident.
Yeah.
Right.
And what are some of the questions that you ask on your questionnaire?
How did you meet? Tell me your love story. Things that you love about each other. Things that maybe make you want to shake the other one. 'Cause that's in a marriage. I like to get some of the dirt as well.
And that's what the audience,
People,
they love it.
when people tell you that their partner doesn't know how to use the laundry basket and you mix that into a ceremony, mom and dad are gonna laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know their kid.
Yeah.
And they know that's gonna, like, they're just gonna cackle
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah, that's cute.
Is your goal for like tears and some LOLs throughout?
So there's a question that says, tell me the vibe and the feeling you would like your ceremony to go. And a lot of people will put that. They're like, we would like some humor. We really want to get the feels and you to take us on a journey. I'm like, perfect. That's because I feel that's where I live and I have the most success. I like to call it the roller coaster of emotion. Like we're having a good time, we're laughing, Cole's warming up the crowd, we're getting going. And then we're going to like come down a little bit. We're going to talk about those who aren't here with us today. And then we're going to start picking up the emotion again with your personal vows and maybe get a few tears going. And
Are you getting emotional?
I'm getting I think like we both have witnessed Cole at ceremonies.
You know what? I don't actually. We work together photography wise, but I don't think I've ever been. I've never been to a Cole.
Okay, well, I can
Wedding.
speak on this. Incredible.
Tell us.
Personally, like, just you really do. You get the vibes up. People are laughing. You get people emotions. Like, it's you're very talented at what you do,
thank
and
you.
it's.
I'm very passionate about it.
It's good. I see it.
I care a lot about the ceremony going well and having that heart to it and that customization to it.
Yeah.
I think that's what sets you apart is like how much you care. Not that other officiants don't care, but you can really tell which ones like got to know the couple or really put some thought into it, and then you can tell the ones kind of like you were saying that just do the legal
They're
stuff
like just-
and they're out.
And sometimes that's all couples want, and they
Yeah.
just want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to have a 6-minute ceremony and exchange legal vows without even, because rings don't make it legal. Like just
Right.
the legal exchange is what makes it legal. So, and some couples are literally going to Mexico. Like, can you do the paperwork for us? We're getting on a plane in 6 hours. So like, yes, I can.
That's easy.
Yeah.
That's like an easy one in your pocket that day. Yeah. What are some of the challenging aspects of officiating?
Managing people, like bringing them out when they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
A lot of couples have seen friends and people get married and they just, we just need to do this legal thing. And they don't understand that the more that they give, the more that you get. So one of the questions is like, how did you meet? At work. But,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
cool. So if you don't put anything into it, like, it's still going to have nice energy. I'm going to try and bring the crowd in and captivate it, but not understanding that it takes a little bit of you giving to create a great ceremony. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be beautiful, but do you want to take it from
the more personal.
do you want to take it from a 6 to a 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of thing? And that takes you as a couple committing a little bit of time and effort back. So that's why starting early is so important. One of my biggest frustrations with couples is that they look at venues and photographers and creatives booking out 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And caterers, planners, all these kind of things. I get contacted 2 to 4 months out so often.
That's funny you brought that up because I was going to ask you if you ever feel like officiants are sort of an afterthought, like in couples' minds.
Yeah, they don't realize how much of an impact it plays on your day.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to people who are having a 4 or 5 o'clock ceremony leading into your cocktail hour. If you just have, we are gathered here today to celebrate the love and the joy. And if you have just a very plain, very legal sounding ceremony, that sets the tone for your entire party.
Vibes are low.
Yeah. If you are having something that's so elevated, and because I work with so many different kinds of people, different types of parties, like my schedule is just crazy, I'm often not available if you contact me 3 months out.
That's true.
And so if you want things for your wedding and you have certain particulars and vibes and things that you're going to, like, an officiant is way more important than you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Tell Kate, anyone that's like getting
Book your officiant.
Yeah, book your officiant early. This is so important, and I see it. We see it all the time with certain officiants. It's like it does really set the tone, and it really sets the vibe. And I think people are walking away from weddings being like, "Wow, like that person like did an amazing job, or they were like so invested. And like, it's just like when during speeches too, it's like people sometimes like, okay, Dad, you got to step off the podium. It's been 20 minutes, you know? So like, yeah. So I think you captivate the audience. That's great. I feel like actually have a question. Do any of your clients come to you and are like, we saw you at a wedding, you did our friend's wedding, you were amazing? Like, is it?
I usually, at big crowd weddings, like if you do a big 200 person wedding, usually within a week, I'll get an email like, we just saw you at such and such a wedding. Are you available for this date next year? Which is wonderful and amazing. And I love when people tell me how they found me, because then that,
They already know then what you're about.
They know exactly what to expect. They know the kind of energy that's possible, and they know the kind of customization that's possible. Now they get to take that and make it theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, your work speaks for itself. Quite literally.
It's nice when you can get into those groups where like everyone's getting married. They're like the gift that keeps on giving.
We all know that as vendors.
How many weddings do you officiate every year?
I'm starting year 5, and the first couple of years were a little messy in the sense that
COVID,
COVID.
I was appointed November 2019.
That's like literally right before the month it started, even maybe November.
Bad time to be a wedding.
It was a really weird time, and it was crazy to kind of get into it. With the numbers of where they are at now, like a lot of like officiants can definitely do triple digits in a year.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you think about the fact that we live in a destination place and weddings happen like multiple days of the week and stuff like that. I won't give out an exact number. But it is lots, and there's times on weekends that I'm doing a couple in a day.
That was my other question. What's like the most in one day that you'll do?
I think a responsible amount to do it in a day is 3. Photo schedules are either you walk down the aisle and you see each other and you get married, and then you do a block of photos, and then so if you get those couples that do first look and photos, so you do the 1 o'clock ceremony and the 4 o'clock ceremony, sometimes things really magically fall into place, and then we all know about those couple of weekends every year that are the crazy weekends.
You get like 100 inquiries for one date.
And
August 17th.
Yeah, this for 2024.
June 24th, July. There's one in July and August 17th. And August 17th, I have blocked off for a family event, and it's been
just keep getting them.
It just keeps coming.
Sorry, no.
And
Sorry,
October
no.
5th.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, October weddings are big.
Smoke season. People are trying to avoid it now. It's a season now.
I like an October wedding.
I do. Yes, your photography background must come in
So
like
much
handy.
handy. I'm not little, as we said at the beginning. I'm 6'6". I've had to do 3 ceremonies from the middle of the aisle because people built arches that were only 6 feet tall.
Oh my god, I was going to ask that.
So I always tell people, because on video, I'm all legs, so I don't look 6'6". So I have to tell people, just so you know, I'm 6'6", and they're always, we're 5'3". They're like, this is. I was like, don't worry, we're gonna put you about 4 feet in front of me, because then you'll look bigger in the photos. And they're like, what? I was like, optical illusions. We just put you here. Just don't build a tiny archway. And
so you wouldn't know that if you weren't a photographer.
Exactly, and I go through all these things with them, and I describe them as from a photography standpoint, like, do you want me to move during your vows? That's a really intimate moment. You don't need like this tight picture of your eyes with a teary coming down, and then my chest just being like, this is going really well. And even I ask couples, do you want me to move for the rings? Because that makes for a better photo. Do you want me to do the rings from the side, so I'm more addressing the crowd, describing what's happening? These are all crazy options.
To photographers,
That's
because
amazing.
90%. Okay, well, first of all, the first thing I say to an officiant when I get there is, well, obviously, like, hi, how's it going? Do you have any notes for me or whatever? And then, so right before they kiss, do you mind getting out of the way?
I'm sure
and they're always like, of course. I mean, I'm not
They all
new
say
to this.
that.
And guess how many move? None.
None.
Or they move like part way, but then their arms in it or something.
You're not as fast as you think you are. I think it's, and I get asked a lot of times, just because I've been in the Calgary industry for so long, many, as we all know each other, and show up and it'll be like seeing an old friend, a photographer, like, oh, you're here, blah, blah. And I don't have to get asked because they know.
Yeah.
But there's so many new photographers and so many new creatives that come up to me and say, so we're gonna mic you. I'm really gonna ask, can you please just not stand there during the first kiss? And I always respond like,
you're like, bitch, I shot 800 weddings.
I'm huge. Do you think I want to be in that photo?
Yeah.
No, I always move. In fact, I always encourage couples that you want to end on a high note. You don't want to be like, pronounce it husband and wife. Please kiss and make it official. Now let's go sign this document that really deflates.
That is weird.
So it's inverted. So
Yeah.
I always will do the ring exchange and maybe any other kind of exchanges. Sometimes if there's additional things, you do it after the signing. But we'll sign legal document, take this moment, and then we'll come back and finish on a high note of kissing.
Yeah. Then
Come
you
back.
announce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I stay at the signing table. So there's a
smart.
beautiful
that's
flow
right.
to it. It's not like weird.
So smart.
Yeah.
And then you just stay over there and you
Just
just
stay out
do
of the
closing
way.
remarks. Nobody's looking
No
at you
one-
anyway.
yeah.
They're looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photographers all the time ask me if I can move. Just like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, like it's right. I'm Cole
Newbies.
Hofstra.
I can't get offended. They're just
No, they're just trying to do their job, and
What's your like impression of when photographers come in? Like what do you see? Because I picture we're always coming in like sweating with all our stuff like all frazzled and you're just calmly like watching.
Oh, I'm always on site like 30, 45 minutes beforehand,
Yeah.
and I'm just running through the script, and it's exactly that. Just throwing everything everywhere, and
we'll be right there. One second.
yeah. So I always find it really funny. The interesting thing is that, and photographers work towards this, and they train towards this, and they try to see the whole picture so that they can capture little moments, capture all these things. But the amount of things that I can see is because I'm not trying to capture everything.
Yeah.
And because I'm like front row center with the couple. It's just, the amount of times I say in my head is just like, how are you not looking at this right now?
Right.
And and you know, I even try to play off the photographer sometimes. If they're not ready, I won't pronounce the couple.
So, yeah,
if
you're
they're not coming down, like I'll slow down what I'm saying about the ring exchange so that they're actually like, I've seen a photographer trying to change a lens to get the long lens on,
Oh, no. Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
I've added lines to my script.
It's really
Really
a joy to work with you because like you make everyone else's jobs easier too. Just
And it's
having that
all about
background.
the couple's experience and their end product. They don't want to have that moment missed.
No,
Why
of
should I be
course.
selfish and just push through
Yeah.
because you know someone else is having an issue? Like it's all about
It's teamwork.
exactly, and we are all a vendor team when we are there. As much as
Exactly.
someone might be trying to do their individual thing or create their
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
we're all doing it for the couple. And if you don't have that mentality, you've already let them down.
Everything works better when you're working like as a team, trying
There's no
not
I
to.
in team.
Yes.
I feel like we're so lucky in Calgary because everyone, well, not everyone, but
There's a
mostly
huge-
everyone is amazing.
Huge group that all
Yeah.
respect each other
Yeah.
and they love to
Yeah.
run into each other and see each other.
It's such a great community in Calgary. Like,
And I notice those people that don't have that mindset, like you don't see them
Yeah.
very often.
yeah, and I mean, there's I don't know how many photographers in the city, but like obviously we can't know everyone. But like I just hope that if there's any photographers that are listening to this that are like, oh, like I really wish I could like dive in or get into that like tight knit circle. It's not. It's like come say hello, right? Like I feel like we're so open. Like don't be afraid because we'll take
We're
you.
all friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
I have a really important question to ask.
Uh-oh.
How do you choose what to wear?
Oh yeah.
Because there's some officiants out there
Yeah,
that
we have some
like
stories.
some bold looks that's like their signature, but when it translates into photos or like the third person in all the ceremony photos, it doesn't jive.
It's not that exciting of an answer. I ask.
That is so smart.
So smart.
So, based on my photography background, I visually know what I look like in photos and what color palettes look like. I have 10 different suits that are all different colors, and I ask you as a couple, what are you wearing? What are your highlight colors? Do you want me to match wedding party, match you as a couple, or be an obvious doing a different job? And a lot of people like it opposite, doing a different job.
Yeah.
Like my favorite is when, you know, the one bridal party side is wearing maroons and the other is wearing blues. And I get to wear my maroon jacket with a blue tie and like pull and tie things together.
Amazing.
That's great.
Something I'm working on this winter is photographing myself in all my suits, and it's gonna be my first highlight reel on my Instagram.
genius.
So it'll say on my questionnaire, please go to my Instagram, follow,
Choose my
and
outfit.
I love
tell me which number,
that.
1 through 10,
Oh my gosh,
or
amazing.
combination. You can go and watch the reel and say, okay, we like number 3, the blue one.
What a great idea.
Please wear that. It really
That's
suits our color
so
palette. and
smart.
everything. Yeah.
I hope it's like those games. What was that game when you were a kid? Like Mr. Potato Head, you could like swap out the glasses and then put a different tie and like
You could just make an outfit.
If I could have a website app that you could scroll through and like a Build-A-Bear me,
Yes.
I would actually really love that.
If there's any app developers, like, come on, let's do this for
Nicole,
cool.
he needs you.
Amazing.
Okay, now I have a juicy question. Have you ever not been able to marry someone? Like legally?
Yes. But it's not that it just happened.
You don't have to tell us.
It happened
we're
the
just
next
curious.
day.
Okay. That's fair. I feel like that.
There's lots of different things that some marriage license is so important, and the amount of people that show up with it folded. Please don't fold your marriage license. You're not legally supposed to.
PSA.
Okay.
The amount of officiants that every officiant will sit there and try to smooth out the crease because you're not supposed to fold. It's a legal document. It's not just a piece of paper. Somebody forgot one once, an hour and a half away. Luckily, it was my last wedding of the day, so I just hung out with mom and dad on the farm and like watched a beautiful sunset. And we ended up having a ceremony in the dark, and they were so sweet and so apologetic. I had another couple that filled out the witnesses stuff. Please don't ever write on your license. That's the officiant's job. They filled out the witness information, and somebody had a family emergency and had to go. So they couldn't.
So they needed a different witness.
They needed a different witness, but you can't white out a license.
Yeah,
So-
could you you can't do anything to it, right? Like
No,
if it's
yeah.
okay.
So
okay.
they next day
Those-
had to go get a new license, and luckily we could still make it work the next day. But sometimes at the height of summer, like busy schedules
Yeah.
and things like
You can't reschedule.
Yeah, treat
gosh.
your license as it is the main thing that is allowing you to get married, because it is. Yeah.
Has anyone ever been too
That's
drunk?
exactly what I was gonna say.
No, we're like, you have to be, it says it on all the documents that you
Yeah.
fill out, like you cannot be inebriated. And it's upon us as officiants to make that judgment call. Like you can't be drunk, you can't be intoxicated, you can't be high, like you can't be any of these things. And I think people get scared straight.
Yeah.
But how many
I beg to differ.
I've shown up in the morning. We actually talked about this
Yeah.
this on a different episode, but tequila shots were being taken, and I think the bride took probably 4 or 5 before we even left the hotel room, and
Maybe
I
they're
was
just
shocked.
scared of Cole and they like straighten themselves out before.
Yeah, you must just do a really good job.
video calls, I'm very adamant about it. Like,
Yeah.
I will not legally marry you
Yeah.
if you are impaired in any way, shape, or form.
Wow.
And they like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one groom, his buddies were trying to give him, I think you might have even been there. It was a wedding at the ranch, and one of the buddies was trying to like give him beers. Like, I can't in front of Cole. So they would use like just wait till after the ceremony, and there's so I try to ingrain it because it is a
It
legal
would-
process. It's a legal document. You have to be focused. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want afterwards.
I'm glad you haven't had to experience that
Yeah.
because I would never want to just be like, no.
It would be
Like,
so
that
awkward
would
and
be
so
terrible.
So
heartbreaking.
awkward. And for everyone else too.
Yeah.
Also, I think, I don't know, when people are like heavily drinking during the day, I'm kind of sad for them because I'm like, you're gonna
Enjoy
not
the-
remember every
Yeah.
moment of
This is why I hired a videographer.
Yeah. Save that for later.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a couple more questions and then we have a fun little game. How do you feel about couples having family and friends officiate?
So Alberta is the only province in Canada that does the day of friend officiant.
Okay.
Wow.
Didn't know that,
And-
actually.
I didn't know that either.
It was taken away for a while because of all the messed up paperwork. And then they brought it back during the
Disaster.
pandemic for obvious reasons, because
Yeah.
it made you able to have somebody close to you at the wedding.
Yeah.
If I hurt myself, I don't just ask anyone what's wrong with me. I ask a professional, whether it be a doctor or a nurse. I ask somebody who knows what they're doing. We don't all have that friend
Yeah.
who is either a teacher or somebody who does lectures and talks and does performative sort of careers.
Oh, we know.
We don't all have that person in our lives, and it is a job that we work hard as officiants to get appointed to, and we have a code of ethics, and we have all these different things that we sign off on. You can't just throw anybody into it.
Yeah.
And some people have amazing friends that should be their officiant because
Yeah.
they know them that well. They've been there for the entire journey. And I am never offended when someone tells me, sorry, we're going with the friend of thing. Good for you. That is a choice that you've made, whether it's budgetary or it's just this person is amazing at the job. But think about why you're choosing it. Because some of us spend thousands of dollars on flowers, and we're not willing to spend $400 on an officiant who is a professionally trained
Yeah.
person who will legally file this paperwork. So think about that. Think
Exactly.
about what you're valuing and like the corners you're cutting and where and why.
The cost is there for a reason, like, and a lot of people don't understand what
There's
goes into
officiants
it.
that offer marriage counseling services along with their stuff. They do all these meetings. They help you. Like, they mine back catalog of knowledge from photography and things that
Oh, 100%.
being able to ask me those questions is worth its weight in gold, let alone just bringing a professional onto your team will just make things so smooth. The amount of people, it happened at least 30 times last year. I got an email saying, hey, my friend didn't file their paperwork soon
Wow,
enough.
that's crazy.
Are you
30
available
times.
for this date and time? And I almost
Jeez.
never was.
Yeah, because
So
it's too late.
It's way too late.
Wow. I've seen some people that I'm like, wow, you should like be an
Yeah.
officiant. And then I've seen some people that I'm like, why on earth of
this
everyone
person
at this
do
wedding
this?
did
Yeah.
they ask this person who's like honestly so uncomfortable? I think maybe a lot of people are like so honored that the couple would ask that they're scared to say no. But like if you're terrified of even
Yeah,
speaking in front of people,
Just
like
say no.
maybe just
Yeah.
don't do it.
The one thing I see most often and most common is they don't ask them to sit back down. So all the guests will just be
Yes.
standing there.
Yes.
And I go through the aisle and I'm like, just sit down.
It's so
sit
awkward.
down. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to sit down. Like, and yeah, so now if it is a friend, I actually add that into my thing. I'm like, just soft reminder, tell people to sit down. Like, and they're like, oh, I didn't have that in the script. I'm like, there you go. Like, because they're so nervous, like reading, that they don't take in the.
I do this multiple times a week, and I have it in big bold letters on my tablet in my script. Please be seated. Please rise. Like having stage directions. Like, anything can happen. The most unpredictable things can happen on a wedding day. I'm a professional who has done hundreds of weddings. I have it in my script. Do not think you are above the script.
And I think that's what you get from hiring someone that's experienced, right? Is like nothing could phase us at this point. Like very few things would phase me on a wedding day because we've seen it all. We'll just
You
roll
can
with
find
it.
a video clip of me where I'm pronouncing the couple as newlyweds, and there's a thunderclap in the background. It is such a loud strike of light, and there was a videographer. The power listen to me, I pronounce you husband and wife. And the sky says congratulations.
Okay.
And you just roll with it.
You had
and
to go, and you came up with that
I
on the
took-
spot.
on-
There
on
you
the
go.
spot.
Like,
This is how positive Cole is. He
amazing.
took that as like a good omen. I was like, well, they're definitely divorced now.
she's like, oh shoot. Like,
babies cry, dogs bark,
Yeah.
winds blow over signs.
yes.
And
I
all
once
of this
had
stuff
a-
happens.
Oh, anything could happen. I once had a dog. The dogs were running around, and the dog went up to the bride, lifted its leg, and fully just peed on her dress mid-ceremony. And kudos to the officiant. They just kept going.
Oh, I wouldn't have, I think I would have, it's just like,
You would have brought that in.
I probably would have turned to the groom
Yeah.
like, are you going to let him dibs her like that? Like, what are you
I think we all laughed, but like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't stop the ceremony.
I have been so passionate about weddings for so long. I turned 40 in May. Most people
In a month?
in
Or
May.
In May. Sorry.
Most people don't know that I'm almost 40. Like just
Yeah, you
like
Yeah, you have a little baby face.
I do have a baby face. A lot of people think like, oh, 35, 36, maybe 37. But yeah, I've been in weddings and in like the service industry since I was 20 years old. And yeah, there's a wealth of knowledge here in so many different aspects, from working in food and beverage to being a photographer for so long, extensive travels around the world, even like, and now officiating. Like everything is such a calamity of leading to this point of things that I have so much to give.
You've seen it all.
I have seen so many things,
Yeah.
and I use all that knowledge to help people.
If you were to choose anything else, like besides what you're currently doing, what would you do? Like, would you stay in the wedding field, or would you?
I think it would be really hard to leave the wedding field.
Yeah.
Well, you honestly just add that to the list and then do something else. And you have all this information.
DJ.
I couldn't. I don't want to. I would never go back to the late nights. I'm so passionate about officiating, is I just don't want it to ever end.
Yeah, no, it's.
So it's.
This is really something.
Luckily,
that you
I
could do
think I've
forever.
seen an officiant that was like 89 years old. So
Yeah.
I've got a lot of time left.
I know officiants that have done 20, 30, 40 years,
Wow.
and they're still like loving and passionate about
This is
it.
your
Yeah.
life. This is awesome.
So this could be my forever thing, where I just keep helping couples
Yes.
get married and hopefully stay relevant and hopefully keep it fun. I might not be able to hike as fast,
Yeah.
but
You'll scale. You'll be the city photographer. If you had to give advice to someone who is about to officiate their first wedding, what would it be?
it's way harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
Practicing in front of a mirror does not do anything for you.
Yeah.
Practice in front of people.
Yeah.
Read. Go over. Have something to read off of. Not a phone. Use a tablet.
Yeah.
Use something that looks
Also,
professional.
not the bright purple folder that I'm editing out of my wedding right now.
Don't use paper.
Oh yeah.
It's way too windy. A lot of ceremony sites, like a little breeze,
You hear
like
it too.
yeah, and wind and folding. If you have a videographer, they hate windy pages.
Totally.
The amount of times that I've seen and don't use paper. Use a tablet. Use something. Even if you're using a binder and like hiding your phone or something, if you don't want to invest into a tablet, it's so easy to like things
Make
like
it
that.
a nice binder.
Yeah. You are
photographer
the
wants you to do that.
centerpiece of a wedding. You should look like it.
On that note,
We have
let's play a little game.
Yeah, so we play this game every episode. It's called I Do or Boo.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like rapid fire. We're going to just ask you some questions.
you
Some of them I think you already answered, but
Yeah, and you can elaborate if you'd like, but
Yeah.
we're gonna try and go speed round.
couples reading their own vows. I do.
I do.
Wow.
Should
okay.
always read your own vows,
Yeah.
even if they're a tailored version. Highly recommend extremely heartfelt personal letters, as well as vows for public.
Yeah.
Do all the things.
So private vows is like an idea
Private
for
vows
you too.
private vows is an I do, because
Yeah.
it's great content. You get to really get the feels, but still give your family and friends something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't just let the officiant do all the talking.
Yeah.
Dogs at ceremonies.
I do.
I do.
Yeah. You should always have your babies or fur
Yeah.
babies at a ceremony.
Yeah.
And now we know how he'll handle it if it pees on your dress.
It's gonna be fine.
There is a handful of new wedding professionals that are dog sitters, dog walkers. The dog comes down the aisle,
Yeah.
has a little snuggle with the
Yeah.
couple, and that is literally escorted off to the back with someone who has a
I
pocket
had
full
one
of
this
treats.
year. Maybe we'll tag.
Yeah,
we'll tag her in
we'll
the
do a
show
little
notes.
shout out
Yeah.
to them because
Yeah.
You should
maybe
always-
that's someone who we should have on.
You
too.
should always have your family in any shape or form, whatever that means to you, at your ceremony.
I agree.
Except-
we love the
Except
fur
when your family's
babies.
going to object.
Yeah,
It shouldn't come. Okay, flower girls and ring bearers. I guess that's sort of what you already mentioned, but what if they're like not really your family? Like, are you in support or do they go rogue?
I do, but with the asterisk that
Yeah.
how many ceremonies have you seen this year that have beer boys, grandmas as flower girls?
Yes. Do you like those?
I think anything you can do that represents you as a couple. Don't ever do anything because it's trendy. Do
it's not on
something,
TikTok.
Do something because Like, if you have a party crowd and you want somebody to walk down handing out Jello shots for your ceremony, do it.
Yeah.
But don't just do it because you think it's going to make funny content.
Yes.
Because then it takes away from
Totally.
you as the focus of the couple.
Be true to yourself.
True
And
to
it might
yourself.
not be trending in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. Do stuff
And
that you love.
don't do that Jello shot until you've signed paperwork.
Yeah, if you hand it to the couple, the officiant might take it away.
He might have it for himself. Okay.
I'm
Wedding
excited about that one.
arches. So like wedding arches.
Tall ones.
Boo. So I do a
He doesn't
lot.
fit inside
I
them.
do a huge amount of weddings that are in nature. The point of an arch is to draw attention and focus to the center and to dress up where you are. Sorry, you can't fucking dress up Mother Nature. It's
you
fine.
cannot.
It looks
It
great.
looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting flower pillars to note the center of our space, but people who go to Bow or Pado or these magical mountainscapes and put up an arch
A
or a
mountain
triangle.
arch.
There's literal mountains behind you. You don't need to do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to set your space that much. Let it be natural. Let it be
Yeah.
candid.
I like that. I like that. take on it.
Also, the percentage of people that actually stand in the middle.
Oh,
even if you've
my
rehearsed
gosh.
it, even if you've marked it with tape,
As
they
your
don't
former
ever stand.
photographer and
Yeah,
officiant, I
you
will
know you're on
always
this.
make sure that you are center.
Yes.
And if I can't get you there, I will go there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I will tell you, just like, we're going to center up right now before we start because I don't want all your photos to be
Thank you.
terrible.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Cole.
Scoops.
Thank
Jeez.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, because that
It kills us.
hours to
when
fix,
we
or you
are.
can't.
Yeah, we can't fix it, and we're looking at it. We're like, oh god, just
one step.
One step.
One step.
I'm always watching the photographers to see if they're off center shooting because we're off center.
See, this is why you hire Cole, because
Yeah,
he
Cole's
knows.
best.
He has inside track.
Cool.
Okay, officiants. I wrote this because I had this year. Officiants wearing sunglasses during the ceremony.
Boo.
Yeah.
No one should be wearing sunglasses during the ceremony.
No.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No one who's standing who will be in constant pictures. Like,
The sun
yes.
is in your
Agreed.
eyes. I
Yeah.
mean, officiants wearing bold outfits.
I think anything you wear should be cleared with your couple. And if they've hired you and they have seen your website, your portfolio, what you stand in, they know what they're getting. Me personally, I like to...
They get to pick.
They get to pick, but I definitely have favorite outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have suits that I love the color of, and I think I just look magical in.
And you know how it looks in photos because you have the experience. Okay, last one. Unplugged ceremonies.
I do.
Yes. Yes.
I have a speech that I do at the beginning of every wedding that I encourage people. You will now take in today's ceremony with your eyes and your heart and not a tiny screen, and please be fully present for our couple and allow our photographers, usually I try to get to know the photographer's name, allow such and such to document this ceremony unobstructive and capture the love story unfolding before you.
I think that's like...
And so many people
So
still don't
important.
listen.
No, they don't. Or the couple
Just-
says beforehand, oh, we talked to our officiant, they'll say something, and then you're like, waiting, and they don't say
And
anything.
it doesn't
So-
happen.
For the couple doesn't really want to see your phone photos of them coming down the aisle, and they don't want to see those photos from the photographer of your phone screen sticking out or your movement pulling focus. It's so distracting. Like, how did we get to a point where we think that our own selfishness in that moment is more important than what's actually happening? Just take a moment, build a photo minute into your ceremony where everyone gets to actually...
Oh, that's so
that
smart.
I actually really
I've
quite
never heard
love.
of that. That's genius. Yeah.
You need the right kind of couple. If
Yeah.
you're a shy couple, it's very...
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
everyone
they're
take our photo.
It's very awkward
looking
to
at
have that
it,
much
like-
attention on you.
I
But
bet.
if you're fun people and you want an unplugged
that's smart.
ceremony,
Or you know that everyone's going to want to take your picture anyway. Yeah. The thing that makes me the saddest is when in the front row, like one of those family members has a camera or their phone out. Like, I'm like, really? Just...
Yeah. So if there's couples listening, where can they find you?
They are all going to want you after this.
Give us
so.
your little, promo.
which one?
Yeah, which camera? You don't actually have to look in the camera.
Married by Cole best way, go to my website, send me an inquiry through there, www.marriedbycole.com.
No Instagram DMs? Oh.
You can.
I love a DM.
I like the inquiries, but I always shift them to email afterwards because it keeps track of everything.
Great to hear from you. Please email me.
Everything is Married by Cole, at Married by Cole.
Perfect.
On everything, and exciting stuff in the works. Working on my suit pinwheel thing of letting people choose the colors. Definitely beefing up my questionnaire to get more insights, more things from people, and just constantly working on new scripts all the time, because you always have the cores and then you take things from people and you influence them, and like having a mountaintop ceremony that has a bunch of different varietals, having a big wedding ceremony that has a bunch of different varietals, and like having I did a ceremony the other day that the couple loved Friends, and like having a base, like just educating yourself on your couples, having a base knowledge of that show. When the couple started like just crying and like losing their mind and their vows were over, and you pull out Ross and like, does anybody want any fajitas?
How many episodes did you watch to prepare for that wedding?
Oh, I've watched it multiple times over and over. There was this weird bird that wouldn't leave us alone, and I said, everybody pivot, pivot. So just being, just giving my couples lots of time, and
Yeah.
And do you still have, for anyone getting married this coming wedding season, do you still have dates available for 2024?
Limited.
Very limited.
Don't wait.
Do not wait.
Have you opened 2024? Or sorry, 2025? Have you opened up 2025 yet?
Not yet. I'm in the process of we get reapproved every 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So I don't book beyond what I'm currently approved for. It's a simple process of just saying, hey, I'd like to keep doing this. They make sure that you're still good to go.
You don't have to give that interview again?
I don't have to. I had to like resubmit my forms and whatnot, but my cutoff date is November. So I don't book past what I'm currently approved for.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, we know we'll be seeing you out there.
Yes, we'll be seeing you. Looking forward to this
probably end of January. I'll start doing 2025. And some 2026 inquiries.
No.
Crazy.
That's scary. That's too scary.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't plan, planning our life a year and 2 years in advance is enough already, so.
Terrifying. The world might end before then.
God, Lisa, just went dark.
Positive spin here.
Think of officiants planning their life an hour at a time in little blocks all over the place.
No, that is scary.
I would say a lot of Saturdays are pretty booked up, but as we know, there's tons of Thursday, Friday, Sunday weddings.
Yeah. Weekday weddings. I
It's
love
the
a
best.
weekday wedding.
Get away from all the people. Your guests are traveling anyway. Hotels are cheaper. Everything
you have
is cheaper.
all weekend to party with them then.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for being here, Cole. It was so good to see you.
That's so good. We need like that. Yeah, like
we should get one. We'll have you on again with our sound.
Anyway, that closes out this episode. We're so stoked and looking forward to 2024.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening and following along. It would mean the world to us if you could subscribe and leave a rating and a review. 5 stars only.
We come out with new episodes every second Thursday. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at the NFF Podcast and on YouTube at No Fucking Filter Podcast.
We would love to hear from you if you have any episode ideas or any crazy stories to tell.
We are always accepting new sponsorships, or if you'd like to be featured on the podcast, feel free to reach out. Bye.